known terror. But I started off 5e. That 5e is what I started off with, thanks to Wajih over here. He got me into it after we literally, like, we were just kind of me, him, and another person kind of tagged together for a project. And then he asked me if I played D&D. I'm like, I always wanted to try it, but, I never found a group or know any friends who played it and stuff. He's like, well, guess what the wonders of Roll20 can bring to you?
Hey.
Afterwards, it was 5e for so long, up until I tried VTM, which I really liked how the system worked in VTM. It was actually really fun. I think it's one of the more intuitive systems. It takes a lot of randomness out because it's degrees of success rather than a success or fail. Afterwards, I kind of stuck with that until I recently joined a custom tabletop that someone actually made. It was a mix between 5e and instead of d20s to roll to attack, we use d100s because armor can go up into the 50s or 60s.
Holy moly.
It was a Fallout campaign that has been heavily edited for a version of 5e, a mix between 5e and a bunch of other systems. Afterwards, I made a custom sheet using Shaped 5e for a friend of mine who wanted to make a cowboy setting, who used D&D stats like wisdom and all that, but he didn't want to use the same attributes, so I made a custom sheet for him there. I DM'd a game of Mythic, and I'm about to play in a Warhammer Deathwing game sometime soon. And until that's pretty much all the stuff I've tried. Warhammer I haven't tried yet, but Purge the Heretics.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. I thought I would have been kind of a bit up there because I try as many systems as I can. Mythic fucking sucks.
Down with Mythic.
That means a lot coming from the person who DM'd the Mythic game.
I know. I had to, in the end, change how perception works because no one could roll a perception that had any successes.
The stupid thing about Mythic is you want to get a negative.
No, you want to get a nat 1 because a nat 1 is a critical success. And you roll D100. Here's how it works. You roll a D100, and then the number of all of your attributes and stuff is divided by that roll of 100. So you would have like
I don't like
50
that.
strength. It's such shit. It works for combat, but it doesn't work when combat would have, weapons that have a rate of fire of like 14. So you're seeing 14 fucking attacks to try and make sure all of them hit. No,
that sounds like Call of Cthulhu too. So
it's something similar to that. We haven't even finished the game, and I had to just cut it there.
Yeah. And it was spray and pray.
Mm-hmm.
Spray and pray.
You told me that it was gonna be diplomatic. It's not gonna be the.
I did try to make it diplomatic, but when I looked at the fucking system, like, this shit's never gonna work. I'll just make it all combat.
And it turned into a Halo trailer.
Yeah, I love it when stuff falls apart.
Oh god, that system was a nightmare.
Things fall apart.
The one thing I'll give it, it's technically in beta, so I won't rag on it too hard because they're still editing it. And there's a new version that just came out. But it's still such a shitty system that has too much.
This should be alpha.
I know what you mean.
So, thank you for the question, viewer. So back to the question Nadim proposed. Is there any other times that the dice have screwed you? Felt the dice have screwed over your character or the party, or maybe possibly, as Jen proposed, ruined maybe a fun encounter.
Cars, that applies to you too.
Applies what?
Question applies to you.
Oh, applies to me too.
Yeah, you're the DM.
Is the answer? Am I allowed to only answer from this game? Because I have a lot of stupid things which dice made me do.
Let's stick it to this game.
Okay, good. Basically, every time I want to roll intelligence, Like something very obvious. Finn would know, right? Natural one.
Yeah, that is something that also pisses me off, which is why in my game I try and minimize how much people roll. Other than like when they actively look around or say I'm going to look around, I try to minimize how much I say roll a perception check everyone while you're moving around. No, I would just use their passives.
Same. I do actually the same in my game.
Because and then when it's something someone would know, like I always just ask them, would your character know about this or not? And I lower the DC heavily depending on that. And I trust my players to say truthfully what their character would and wouldn't know. Getting rid of rolling actually makes it more enjoyable because it's just stuff you're like it's more it moves forward faster and it's not really okay this roll thing. I had to give my players advantage, all of them, because none of them could roll above a 3 on perception checks while investigating. It was a nightmare.
Sarah?
I get this thing about the opposite rolls when you oppose something, like do a persuasion or deception against someone. And you roll really well. Like 70, 90, and it comes down to, with your stats and everything, like 30, 25, whatever. And the opponent rolls natural 20. You got 35. He has natural 20. He won!
That's actually why I get rid of rolling for persuasion and intimidation and stuff like that. I base it per NPC.
I actually don't do critical successes on the stats.
Oh yeah,
Stuff
that
like
too.
that.
I don't do that. You nat 1, but you still pass higher than the other person. You still technically pass.
Yeah, I can buy that too. I mean, sometimes, yeah, exactly. If you get if you have a high modifier to any stat, 15, a 16, and you can roll a 10 and still do well, and the opposing force rolls a natural 20, just because you rolled a nat 20 doesn't mean anything. That's the only time it means something is usually in combat. Outside of combat, it shouldn't mean a damn thing. It should just be the roll of the dice. It's 20 plus whatever your modifier is. Now, if they have a plus 15 or 16 to their mod, and yeah, okay, sure, they rolled higher than you. But there shouldn't be anything special for nat 20s and skill checks and stuff.
Mhm.
Like, if you're gonna convince somebody to give up the throne because, hey, you suck as being ruler, you roll a nat 20, well, good luck. Congratulations, you don't get executed for being a douchebag.
It's like that whole bear thing. Remember the story of the
Yeah.
bear who was able to convince everyone? I think that wouldn't work in anyone else's game if they kind of did some of the similar stuff to us. But
No.
I do the whole nat 20 is a critical success depending on the situation, though. If it's something really dire and someone gets a nat 20, I feel like it's that extra push when they get a nat 20. It's that extra motivation to keep going.
Right. I mean, and it's like if you're trying to climb a wall, a straight up wall, and you're not a monk, mind you, and you've got a ladder that's 60 to 90 feet up in the air. Great, you rolled a nat 20. Do it 3 more times and see how well you can do, because you can't climb a vertical wall unless you're a monk
Or tabaxi.
or a tabaxi, because you don't
Hey,
have a
I can
climbing.
climb.
That's what I'm saying. You don't have anything to hold on to. It's a straight stone slabbed wall. What are you holding on to climb to get to that, ladder up there?
I was running a one-shot for a bank heist, and Wajih was actually there for that one. A player was a rogue who just around the corner hid there, bonus action hide rogue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
An enemy peered around the corner. The person got a 30 on their roll, and I'm just telling him. I tell him like, dude, you're out in the open. I'm sorry. I don't care how low this person's perception is. I don't care how good you are at hiding, unless you can dig a hole and redo the entire flooring of this entire place with you underneath it. There's no way you can hide that one.
Yeah, you can hide in the open all you want. As if you're hiding behind a pillar, it doesn't matter. You're still in the open. If that pillar, it's like hiding behind a twig. You can roll a 30 to hide behind a twig. You're still there, though.
See,
Somebody
if you
is
get
still gonna see
creative
you.
though, and say like Like if it's like behind a twig, if you get creative and say I'm going to grab a bunch of these twigs and then just put them right on top of me, I might cut slack there because you're
Yeah.
using camouflage. You're getting creative.
That's
But you see,
different.
I just use the hide action.
Yeah.
I tell them, all right, congratulations, you're out in the open. You played yourself.
Hide
You
in
know.
plain sight. Or
Exactly. It's
cloak of
hiding in
other
plain-
kind.
We got another
You know,
another viewer, guys.
Awesome.
Hey.
Hide in,
Woohoo!
hide in plain sight is one of the features of Ranger, I think.
Yeah.
It
Right, you
is,
just
but you need a
camouflage yourself.
minute.
Mask of the Wild as well, if you can. That's for elves and such.
But you are
Certain
using
elves,
a minute of time to kind of make yourself camouflage.
Yeah.
It's basically like building a ghillie suit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or that thing that they did in The Hobbit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Mm.
So, what's
so
the question?
shout out to Matseg.
It's Matse.
Matseg Burks.
Dude, it's Matse
Ah.
from Monday.
Hello, which one?
Matse.
Mon or Evelyn?
That's a good question. Hold on, let me ask Matt.
They said it'd be the milkman.
It'd be the milkman. Hey, Amon. Hey, Matt. Problem is that Amon is just to give context. I have two people in my game who play Matt, but who are named Matt, but in two separate games they play a person named Amon.
So this is
So it's kind of
Evelyn.
confusing. This is Avalon, yes.
Avalon.
Hey, Matt.
Yep. So, Matsi, do you have a question for the group that you would like to ask? It could be about the game, their thoughts on the game, characters, maybe them themselves, if, something D&D related, or tabletop in general.
What? What was the
Until
question?
then.
Oh, we
A
got,
friend of mine is in the chat, by the way. That's all.
and we got another viewer.
No, what was the question? I didn't understand the
No,
question.
I didn't ask the question.
They haven't asked one yet. Just letting them know. And we're up to 4 viewers now. Oh my gosh.
I think Thorig, Ethan, you had a question, but a lot of different things came up.
Yeah. I mean, I've got several questions, but I just want to sprinkle them throughout so it's not just me asking questions the whole time and give other people a chance.
After me would be Wajji, so I hope you don't mind. Can we ask Wajji what question he has for the whole party,
Yeah.
or for one person in particular? Unmute yourself, you coward.
I have many questions. As you can tell, I am prepared.
Right.
Not
Yes.
Yeah,
totally.
Of course.
I honestly don't have any questions. Any questions? I'll think of one soon.
Oh, we got a couple coming in from the chat.
Wonderful.
Let's see. Turtle Hotish, you've already gotten one question asked already, so we'll get back to yours. We'll get Motsi's first. So, what are your views? What are I'm guessing that's what are your views on players disturbing the game with banter, chatting, and stuff, even if it is a character?
Well,
Oh dear. That's a
we
question.
We
No
do that a
comment.
lot.
do that all the time.
Yes,
No
we do.
comment.
Exactly. I mean, we do that all the time. So
I'll have it this way. As long as it doesn't get too as long as it doesn't get too dragged out to the
Mhm.
point where it's like, okay, now didn't we come here for a reason kind of thing.
Right. Right.
But I mean, if it's like short amount of time and stuff, and it's like not in this like uber dire situation where it's like someone's gonna die, and one of us is like, I wonder what this person's doing right now, and we have a discussion around that instead of the person
Right.
dying. I think it's not a big deal. But then again, it's a very player per player kind of thing. I knew a player who like, if you're not always RPing, what are you doing in my game?
Oh,
I mean,
dear.
at the end of the day, it's a game, and you play a game with people to form bonds and connections and enjoy the game too. So while you're enjoying the game, you also enjoy human companionship, and friendship. So and that involves sometimes not talking about the game. As long as it, like you said, Nadim, it doesn't become the only thing you're doing, and you're still focused on the game. I think it's fine.
First, for my opinion, I kind of agree with both Ethan and Nadim. In my game, it's honestly nothing but banter a lot of the time, but at least the players know to be serious when I'm trying to actually have the storyline moving. There's some times where the players take it too far, and I have to yell at them. Sadly, that's been a recurring thing over and over, Cars. Getting real tired of this shit.
Called
Fuck
out.
you! Woo!
But no,
Okay.
really though, I do agree. If like the stories, like so long as the players aren't like as long as everyone's having fun, that's fine. But there are some points in the game where the story is really heavy and a lot of people are like really into character. I feel like if someone starts banter there and it doesn't fit the mood, then that kind of just ruins the immersion for a lot of people. And I feel like that kind of moment should stay away from that. If it's like outside of a serious moment where you're just walking to a town and the DM's just like, what do you guys like to converse about anything, random talk to each other? That's fine because our characters are building a trust within each other, just bantering about silly things. But we're literally running to a town that's on fire. I don't see the point in us making jokes right there. Like, there's literally people in danger. We're gonna help them. I don't see a point of us being stupid and spending like an hour making jokes while there's literally a fire in front of us.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. If
Yeah,
it
like-
doesn't fit it, then
Yeah. Then
Make a joke while in the situation though, and it's fine because it could be what your character would do. Similar to how Peace,
Yeah.
he sees when a situation's dire, but he'll still crack a dumb joke.
yeah, like that's kind of fine, but so long as it doesn't take like a full-on hour of the whole situation,
Oh,
and
well,
then we all
yeah.
just start messing around.
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, if it's the way your character kind of relieves the tension and the stress of the situation that they're in because
Yeah.
they have a difficult time and that's the only way they know how to alleviate said stress, then yeah, sure. You know, crack a joke or be witty about it, but don't go on a full-on tangent if it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a perfect moment for Laya to appear from a shadow.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
as I see it, the stuff that with like banter chatting and stuff, like if it's in character, then then it's fine. But yeah, it's kind of a case by case situation kind of thing. If depending on how dire the situation is, um, like you said, if you're just traveling, then stuff can go on, or maybe like just having walking around town shopping, or or even if you're on the run, maybe away, being chased by something, or running to something. The amount of time spent on the banter and stuff should vary. Um, I Like-
yeah.
I kind of I kind of trust my players to know how much time should be spent on that kind of stuff, and if I feel like it's dragging on a little bit too long, then I will try to get attention focused back onto the objective ahead of them, ahead for their characters, as their characters are going ahead, going towards something dire, or something is happening around them. Because while this banter does go on, things can go on around them, and that's why occasionally I do roll dice because stuff can happen.
Yeah.
And to answer the follow-up question from Matse, can a DM interrupt in-character roleplay to move the plot forward? I think so.
Most
Yes.
definitely.
Yes.
Most definitely. If it's
Mhm.
If the DM feels like the role playing is dragging on too long or more than it should be, and because as I kind of see it as a DM, you gotta remember that while banter stuff is going on, you gotta think it's kind of a real time thing. So, like Fable said, if a place is on fire while they're bantering, that place is still going to be burning and getting worse with each
Yep.
minute that passes. So,
yeah.
And that's where you can roll things and see, like maybe the structural stability of a place is decreasing, depending on the rolls you make, getting worse and worse.
It's like the situation between Mercy and Kai in the desert, where he check to see if the thing was locked or trapped, and then the thing collapsed because the two of them were arguing the entire time.
That's one example. Yes. So that's an example of how character like banter infighting or something can have another negative effect because it draws their attention and focus away from looking out for danger. And so
Totally guy's fault.
and
Oh
it,
my
it,
God.
We're not
no.
getting into this now,
Yeah.
my lord.
No.
and it's not. I guess you could think of it as a way as not really punishing the players, but more punishing the players' characters.
Right.
So
It's
they could treat it as a
Also-
learning experience.
and it's also setting that the world is a real place. It doesn't stop for you.
No, yeah, exactly. It's like things are still gonna happen,
Yeah, I mean,
whether you're paying attention or not. So
it's not like those RPG games where you get dialogue options and you can just sit on the dialogue screen waiting to choose an option for like an hour.
right.
And everything
Exactly.
just pauses.
Yeah.
Because a D&D world, or just like any type of RPG world that you run, should be like a living, breathing world.
Mm-hmm.
While the game you're playing is the story, it's kind of focused on your characters. That in the game, there's other things going on around them, and sometimes their choices can lead to consequences or other things happening.
But
So
let's
yeah.
be fair here, because a day has 24 hours. Out of that, you probably go around 18 hours on your awake on your feet. If you travel even through country, your horses, your carriage, whatever, is already being seen. So if you want to have a little banter inside the carriage, why not?
Yeah. Oh no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like when you guys are traveling. That's why I always ask if there's anything you want to do.
Yep.
Banter. I don't know. Go hunting or I don't know, whatever you want to do. Basically, as long as you can just keep yourselves moving forward.
Like what we did with Torik yesterday. Like
Yeah.
we were walking to the garden, so we took the time to actually talk.
Mm-hmm.
So that answers your question. Matsi Gebutz. Your username is
Matsu kibitz.
Matsi Gibitz.
Kibitz.
So back to Turtle Hot Dish's question though. What is your favorite race and class?
Oh, that's hard.
That
Is hard.
Yeah.
My favorite race is hated by DMs, by the way, but we'll go from the top so we don't kind of break that order.
Torik? I mean, Ethan?
Wizard, and more wizard, and then a little sprinkling of wizard on top with another helping of wizard, please.
Oh my God.
and your
race?
race.
Oh, I don't think I really have a favorite. Wizard, yes, of course.
Wizard is a race.
Yes,
It is.
everyone knows Wizard is a race, guys. Come on.
I mean,
Guys, it's just as common as everyone should know. The cereal is a soup. Come on.
cereal is it is.
Well, on a
It
less
is a soup.
controversial topic, I don't think I really have a favorite. I always play I play to whatever the background is. I don't have like an inclination to go to a certain race all the time. I will say I do like the Loxodon in Ravnica. I really like them. I think they're cool. But yeah.
What kind of player race though?
That is a player race. It's from Ravnica.
Oh.
Yeah, it's from
right.
Ravnica. Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
What non-module based one then?
Non-module? I don't know.
Kind of like
Elf, I guess, if I had to pick one, because you can trance, and then you also live really long, so...
okay. Perks there, yeah. Alright.
And wizard.
And wizard. Elf wizard. Okay. Tara.
Nothing but Wizard.
To no one's surprise, mostly my fallback character is half-elf rogue. Half-elf because of the proficiencies and everything, because I like the more skills. Rogue because this is the least objectionable.
So a little bit of power play there. Okay. All right, Fable.
I have so many cards. Can I have to pick one?
Yes.
Dragonborns. I love Dragonborns as a race. My criticism, they need to be reworked or at least given like the hide feat in the beginning or something. But that's just me. I love Dragonborns because you can do a lot of lore with them if the DM is willing to work with you on making the world like not really just fit them, but have a certain part of the world with them. I love them a lot. As for class, I don't know. I'm going to probably say Druid because I've been playing a Druid lately in my other game, and I have just fallen in love with the versatility of a Druid. I just love him.
Dragonborn Druid.
Yes, possibly. Yes, he is a Dragonborn Druid, and he has a sheep, and I love him, and I will fight you on this.
Cars showed me the artwork.
I will
It's
fight
really
people on this. I love him. But jokes aside, I love druids because I just feel like they're very versatile, and no matter how you build them, they can have they can basically be a tank or a healer, or they can be both at the same time, or one or the other. And that's what I really love about it, I guess. My only criticism, they have too many concentration spells.
Yeah.
They have the
Yes.
most concentration based spells out of each of the classes, and I'm just like, why do you hurt me, D&D? Why do you hurt me so? But other than that, I really love that and that class. So yes, it's beautiful.
Hey, Jen, what about you?
Let's see. That's tough actually because I have my least favorite class, my least favorite race, but a favorite is harder because there's just so many good ones. I normally when I create a character, I normally stick to elf or half elf. I'm just a fan of the elven race, especially if I have to stick with a specific book set. Like if I'm like with Adventures League, you only get your PHB +1. So normally I stick with elf or half elf. If I'm doing a home, I might expand further. Like a combination I actually want to make is a Tabaxi Kensai monk using their claw Kensai weapons. Because normally it doesn't fall under a monk ability weapon because it's strength based. And as a Kensai weapon, it would be a monk weapon and therefore could fall under dexterity. But I really like playing spellcasters. Sorcerer is great. The Draconic Bloodline is awesome. I mean, not just because of this game, but I've played Draconic Bloodline sorcerers before. I have a Dragonborn Draconic Sorcerer, so
Yes.
but as far as favorite races and classes, I really can't pick one. Least favorite I can do. That's easy. But I'm not gonna get into that because that's not the question.
Okay. Nadim, what about you?
Fun. I don't have a per se particularly favorite race. Again, that's a good reason for that would just be it's just kind of my favorite races are the ones that have a million ways to start.
Oh dear.
A million ways that you can start. No. What I mean by that is there's three in particular that I would kind of fall back on, but only one almost universally is always pretty much like you can always play it. Tiefling, Changeling, and Warforged, because the three of them have some of them, and I would say Azamar as well, but I've never played one, but I can see why it's another thing. There's a million ways you could become a Tiefling. There's a million ways you can start off a Warforged. There's some like really fucking old Warforged or something, or is he someone who's just been made like 2 months ago? You know, changeling in the sense that it's someone who's always hiding, and class-wise, I don't have a favorite class, but I have a favorite way to play classes. Never in the right way. I have a sneaky fighter, a bard like. Well, it's a homebrew class. It's similar to a monk, but it's more like a brawler, tavern brawler, and you fight just use a chair as a weapon kind of character. But I play him as a bard. More over like as a bard, where he's using his charisma and stuff to do things, and it's mostly stuff like that I like the most, because the game wasn't designed to be this way, where you use a fighter to sneak around, but when you get that mix just right, it works perfectly, in the sense that they won't even know you're there because you can't tell if someone's there when you're dead. But like playing a paladin who constantly sasses their god isn't really someone he took up the oath because he knows it's what he has to do right now, not because he really wants to have it. That's peace at the moment, where he's a paladin who's kind of like, once this is done, I'm not fucking doing any of your shit anymore. Thank you for the opportunity, but go and fuck yourself.
That does sound like him.
And I always wanted to play a dual alignment kind of character, which would have been something like a warlock or a cleric, where it's more like their patron taking over during combat or something, but then them themselves are just like a normal person. But those 3 races, mainly the ones I fall back on, because they're the ones I can build the most with, because I can start this in a bajillion ways. But class-wise, I don't have a favorite. It's tough to say, but I don't have a singular favorite. I hate to play rogues, though. They're annoying to play when you have to start first and second level.
Yeah, well, any class can be that way at first and second level. It's not till third level where you really get into the good stuff.
That's why when a campaign starts at first level, I'm like, I always choose something other than a rogue or a paladin, just because you're just either a glorified fighter or a weaker version of a fighter.
You're either a fighter or a fighter until you get your subclasses and your abilities and stuff.
Or a wizard.
Get out of here, you wizard.
Spellcasters are spellcasters. It's the melee classes that are the harder to start at first. Even spellcasters can be hard to start at first and second level too, because you don't have a lot of.
Yeah, to no surprise, Tiefling is one of my favorite races. Gasp, I know, but it's just because of how you can do it.
So far.
There's many more. You look at my list; it's mostly Tieflings and Dragonborns and there's like 1 Warforged, and the rest are there's 2 Changelings.
Yeah,
but I think everyone can see where I'm coming from in the sense of why it's my favorite race to play, and the one that I can most likely play in almost every campaign. Is just because there's so many ways to play it.
Okay. So, Wajid, what about you?
I honestly prefer human, just because variety. Especially if I'm in a new set, especially if I'm gonna go into a new setting or something, I'd rather have, the +1s or human variant, just so I can survive a bit longer. Or Azamar, so when the party fucks up, I can heal the healer so that he can heal everyone else. In favorite class, I would say the gunslinger from Matt Mercer, because Matt Mercer's now canon.
He really is, actually.
Yeah. If I keep Karchnok's character as the gunslinger, it's canon now.
It's unofficial canon, to be honest.
I don't care.
I'm out.
I like playing a gunslinger, and I like playing a cleric or a swashbuckler, or the swashbuckler rogue. The rogue is just because you have the privilege of sass. It's your job to sass literally everything.
Unlimited sass.
Yeah, the cleric is because I am God on the battlefield. If for more proof, look at Serena.
I'm not saying the
And-
last bar.
And the gunslinger, honestly, I'm just so I can wait for my weapon to just explode and kill me. It's yet to happen, but it will.
Man.
I made this thing while on 13 different types of drugs. Come on, boy, let's see what you can do.
But by the way, Nadim, Matt in the chat says lies. Nadim, what about Calamity?
Oh god, yes, Calamity. He's my character who I love, but I couldn't do much with him because of the game that I've been set in. Hard. Thank you, Matt, for reminding me of my fucking nightmares.
Hi, Matkibits.
As for myself, I've only been able to have the privilege of playing 4 races so far, and 4 different classes. Well, 5 technically. I will say, I think. I really like Dragonborns because just their way they look is really really cool, and depending on the world, their origins are interesting. But I think I'm gonna have to go with Fearbolgs.
Furbolg?
Yeah.
A Furbolg wizard, right?
Nah, Furbolg Druid.
Get out of here,
No,
you
Furbolg
wizard.
Druid.
It would have to be. Actually, I think maybe like a cleric or bard. Actually, getting to play as a bard recently has been really fun. But I also like clerics too, because I know people think, oh, the clerics are just a healing race. No, they can be freaking
No.
powerhouses.
Oh yeah, they can.
They're
be.
anything.
Tempest
Clerics
domain.
Clerics and bards are basically the I can do your class, but also do my class while doing your class better.
Because I played a Fearbolg life cleric, and pretty much I was like, actually it was a Fearbolg fighter life cleric. I had 1 level in fighter, and the rest was life cleric, and just so I could have the defense buff, and I was just the tankiest tank of cleric, and basically
You have never seen Warforged Cleric.
yeah, well, that's because Warforged.
I
wasn't
am playing a
allowed.
Warforged cleric. I'm playing a Warforged cleric.
But
Warforged life
Are you-
cleric.
Are you breaking it?
It was just
Going to.
it was good. Because like I was able to basically at the level I was playing at, I got to basically Spirit Guardians, run around damaging enemies, on different turns, and while also going and healing my party. Like, oh, be healed, and then like when I'm trying to get attacked, shield. Look, I couldn't get hit, and so it was like pretty much I was playing the medic, but I was able to also damage and heal, and spiritual weapon, having that as a bonus action was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, oh, you're over there, go weapon, wham. Debbie. So yeah. All right. I think we have time for maybe more questions, depending on how long they are. Is anyone else who hasn't got to ask a question yet, or has any that they want to ask? I guess.
Well, what is everybody's least favorite class and race to play?
Oh, that one is a good one.
Warlock.
Warlock.
No one touch the Warlock.
Warlock. I hate Warlock because
why does
you don't
everyone
get
hate-
spell slots. Wizard, you get spell slots and the spells, and it's great. And Warlock, you get none of that, and I hate
Because I
it.
don't understand
You do. You
Warlock,
get
and
2, and
and
you get him back on a
the-
short rest.
Warlock's okay if
I
you
don't-
multi-class it.
I don't understand Warlock. I don't know how it functions, and I hate being bound to a god.
It's not so much a god you're bound to in this one. It could be
You're bound to a demon,
or
a lot of
anything
different
else.
gods.
unicorn, or
I
even
mean,
Yeah, it could be a
Uh,
fey creature,
Be a demon,
Archfey.
angel,
Bad
archfey.
Archfey.
or it could even be some
Um,
powerful wizard.
Celestial.
It could
It could
literally
even-
be
Warlock.
It could be your
could be
ancestor. It could be a
Cthulhu.
lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be
Don't talk to me
Cthulhu.
about Celestials.
Yes, we know angels are dicks.
Hmm.
Hashtag,
Nice dicks, but they are dicks.
hashtag angels are dicks.
Um,
Can we get a hashtag in the chat? Angels are dicks. Yeah.
Oh, what?
um,
No.
I don't know if this counts, but my least favorite race. Sorry, not race. Class. I this is kind of unofficial. Probably would be Blood Hunter.
Ooh.
Not
I-
official.
Mm,
Not
I
official.
It's unofficial. It's Matt Mercer though, so
I
mean,
know.
It's not official.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
official.
it's not.
I know, Tara, but the reason I say that is because technically some people do consider it official because it's on D&D Beyond, but it's not because it's literally a homebrew class created
It's a
by
Matt
Steven.
Mercer created class. Yeah.
Yes. So, I can't officially. I've technically played just about all the races, all the classes, so I can't necessarily say which one I don't like. Probably, if anything, the Ranger we have now, because it just feels so lackluster. And revised Ranger, the UA, is like a lot better. And one thing that makes me sad is when people do play the normal Ranger and have fun, people meme on it to the point where I'm just like, okay, you guys are just bullying it and making me not ever want to try it because I feel like I'm gonna get bullied for enjoying the class. So
Right. Exactly.
that's just me. But honestly, I love all of them. But if I have to say it, it'd be the normal Ranger because if I play it and have a good time, people are literally gonna make me hate it by bullying me into not liking it.
Nah, I wouldn't do that. I mean, you choose to play
Yeah.
what you want. Like me
Yeah.
personally, I don't like paladins. I really don't like playing paladins.
Yeah.
One, it's a
They
half
use Vault.
caster. It's a half caster combined. It's a cleric combined with a fighter for one. So if I wanted to be a cleric fighter, I'd just multi-class or crying out loud. But I don't like the spells that you get. You don't get a lot of good spells. I mean, you get a
There's
channel
nothing-
divinity.
There's also one thing as well I would agree on for that is the fact that you can't play a ranged paladin. It
You
just doesn't
can't.
work.
It doesn't. It doesn't work. You have to
You-
be a tanky melee paladin.
You just lost half of your spell list when you play
Pretty
a ranged
much.
paladin.
Pretty much.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, there's no range spells. You literally have to multi-class as a paladin. You cannot.
If you
It's
want to play a
very
paladin who's
rare.
ranged, just multi-class into warlock one level and get Eldritch Blast and you're done. That's it. You
There
have the
you go,
best ranged paladin.
That's about it. I mean,
Just hold an empty crossbow and say, "This is what I used to do the pew pew Eldritch Blast." Gasp.
exactly.
pew pew.
It's very rare to see someone go all the way to level 20 with a paladin.
That was
Because
me.
it's
Fuck you, Ethan.
Yep. 3 years, baby.
yeah.
Damn.
Paladins are just so hard to play. I mean, yeah, okay, they took away the fact that you actually have to be lawful good to play a paladin now.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, I was
But-
lawful good. Definitely.
I mean, you could be lawful good, but I've seen chaotic good paladins and stuff like that.
But you're not forced to be. Certain
Yeah, you're
alignment.
not forced to be a certain alignment now. You don't have to be lawful to be anything. Which is the only good thing about it. Also, I don't like playing a straight up human. I don't care if there's a variant human or not. I am human. I don't want to be human, okay? So, no.
Yeah, we're already human, and being human sucks.
Yeah. So,
Ronnie, I have my
no.
different reasons for not liking human. It feels like the cheat race to play when you
It
get bad
does.
stat rolls.
Exactly.
Because like
Yeah.
like the main thing for me for human, and would you shut up, is the
If you
fact that you either choose like, oh, you instantly get a feat, by the way, which these things are designed so you get at like level like 4 and up, and you don't get them right away from the start. But like when you have either +1, I've banned the +1 to everything human. I only allow variant because at least it has some flavor to it and you don't just get a bump to your stats.
Woo, I'm good at everything.
I feel called out
Exactly.
from multiple directions.
Fuck you, Wizzy. Hashtag
Uh,
fuck Wizzy.
Can we get that? Can we get that in the chat? Twitch people. Hashtag fuck with G.
Hashtag
First,
fuck
let me
Wizzy,
know-
not Ethan.
Press F in the chat for Wajee. Ethan apparently. Yeah, no, I agree. I I've never wanted to play a human, be myself, because not that they're bad or anything. It's just like Law said, like I'm human already. I want to try being something else that's cooler.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I mean, I guess if something you want to kind of dabble into, it's a little bit different. Half elf is a good kind of half measure.
Yeah, it is. It's a
Um,
good cross between. You still get the good. You get a +2 to one stat and a +1 to two different stats. So it's just as good, if not better, than human
I guess the
slash
the
very
way
human.
I just see is like humans usually in D&D worlds, depending on how the DM does things, humans are almost usually just kind of the most generic, fully accepted race.
Hmm.
I like kind of often like playing outliers, those who are different, because it makes for a better backstory for the character, I think. But I mean, there could be humans with troubled backstories as well, easily. It's
You
just
can have a good backstory as any race and any class and any kind of background, but the main problem with human is I feel like it's too much of the. It feels like if I were to explain this from video game standpoint, the Soldier 76 of D&D races. It's because it's what you can easily start with. Every person can know how to play it. It's basically, you just do the point and do that and all that. It feels mostly like that. It feels like the very here, feel free to start easy kind of case,
yeah.
which is why the +1 to everything exists. Let's be real.
Okay. So Ethan, do you have another question?
Yes, I do. Let's see, because you said we don't have much time, so let me just pick one of the. Okay, I'll pick this one. Nadim,
Yes.
Nadim, this one's for you. Okay, so do you remember back when Peace was with Mogash, when Mogash like visited Malave and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, Malave was there, and there was other like ghost inspectors there, and they started like pulling on the dog tags, and Mogash had convinced Peace to let go of the dog tags. Has Peace fully let go of those that he feels that he let down? Like, did that moment symbolize him fully letting go, or is there a piece of him that still holds on to that baggage?
To explain Peace the best, he's chained in about every direction. Now the things everywhere's kind of tugging at the same time. Well, right now he's more going back to, as Finn would probably bring up when we do play. He's more going back to his old self, his more joyful kind of have a laugh or two kind of personality. But when shit gets serious, it's actually serious and stuff. But there's still a part of him still. Let's just say he physically let go of those dog tags, but he's still
Not the
holding on to
emotional?
them, not the emotional. He's still holding on to those.
Okay, that answers my question.
We have time for a few more.
Okay.
If they're that long.
Speed
Yeah.
round.
Speed round. Okay. Finn. Or Waji, who plays Finn.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So you've literally bonded to the Nexus, right?
Yes.
You did the thing. You did the wizard thing. Go you. I'm proud, by the way. It sounds wizard thing is great. So besides like obviously trying to find Kroshaks, what are Finn's goals? What is he wanting to do? Like, let's say we kill Kroshaks or we stop him or whatever it is we're doing. What is Finn's goal?
After this, try and actually fit back to basically civilian life and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because before Finn got here, he was holding the line. He basically signed his I'm going to die here and I'm gonna die standing so people have hope, basically. So after that's done, he's going to go and just try and adjust back to civilian life, because he no longer is part of a military. There's nothing that needs his attention majorly because all the bad stuff are gone. And if we have wish, prepare to see a lot of random towers popping around.
Ah, I see.
Every wizard must have a good wizard tower.
Of
you know
course.
this.
Several wizard towers.
Several. One exactly in every location they visited.
Yep. And they're all interdimensionally linked too.
Yeah. And whenever you want to go around and you forget something, you have to figure out which tower did you leave it in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, on a serious note, after Finn's goal of him finish, after everything is done, he's gonna figure out basically stuff, because if you haven't noticed, Finn is not good at the dating. Or the taking of hints.
I mean, you saw that one chick's wizard book.
He's also got you a date with with Evelyn, but you haven't actually.
Did we have enough time before we had to fuck off to do our own things?
I think we had like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
before
Not enough
we-
time.
What do you mean?
You could have
Oh
gone
my.
on one date, my guy.
The wizards needs a month of preparation. It's like magic. You need
No,
time.
that's just
Alright.
your character, you.
Okay, so it's official. Finn's gonna die virgin. Got it.
Exactly, Karst. And you can't hold anything I love against me because everything I love is dead.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
Peace is still alive.
Yeah, but Peace is
He
a
said
cunt
everything
like
he
90% of the
loved.
time.
He said everything he loved.
Oh.
I,
Oh, he does.
Hey, Peace, didn't you want to die at one point? Here's your wish come true.
Okay.
Jesus
We do
Christ.
have one question in the chat that we'll answer at the end of Ethan's questions. So.
Okay.
So Ethan, next question.
Yes. Serena, or sorry, Fable, who plays Serena. So
Okay.
Serena is very friendly to just about everyone, unless they've done something wrong, specifically to Fable or one of Fable's, or to Serena or one of Serena's friends.
Mhm.
Is there anyone who Serena just immediately didn't like for almost no reason?
Good question, actually.
The chick in the cave.
The chick in the cave, yeah, actually.
She also attacked us though, so there's kind of a reason there.
Yeah, but one of the things is when Serena didn't really knew that someone was controlling the kobolds, she pretty
Mhm.
much just was just like, all right, first off, you captured the parents and you're making the poor children starve, and that instantly made Serena not like this person, and just to find out that she acted like, oh hey, everything's fine so long as I get my money or my part of the deal. That just sold it for Serena. She's just like,
Gotcha.
you are a mean person, and I hope you go to jail, essentially, in Serena's mind. She just hated that because she acted like, oh, it's fine. I can hurt whoever I want. As long as I get what I want. So yep, I want to say her. I don't actually think we ever got her name. If we did, I apologize, Cars. I don't fully remember it. I'm forgetting some stuff. Sorry.
Her name was Nex.
Okay, thank you.
Cunt.
I'm actually-
Sorry. Misspelled the card.
So,
I'm actually forgetting names of certain characters, so I apologize for that. Yep. To answer your question, it would be 100% her. Just
All right.
because we didn't fully meet her before we found out what she was doing. So yeah, Serena saw what her actions were doing to others, so she instantly just did not like her for that.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
All right, got a next question. Speed questions. Jen, this one's for you.
Alrighty.
When did Gara realize she had feelings for Mogash?
Ooh.
Ooh, I'm on the edge of my seat, boys.
That is a good question. I think it was like once he left to go train with the Dracokin,
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't around as often. It was kind of like there was something, and she wanted him around more often, and wanted to be more a part of his life than she was, and she felt like it was like something like that missing piece needed to be back, and when he came back, everything kind of just clicked into place for her. And one
Gotcha.
of those weird little puzzle things for her.
No, that makes sense.
Cue
get
aw
it.
in 3, 1, 2, 3. Aww.
Aw, wizards are terrible. You
So-
should feel bad, Ethan.
So,
Wow.
Sorry.
so I guess in this case, absence and distance did make the heart grow fonder.
Ye-
In that case, I suppose.
Do you,
Aw.
any other question? Ethan?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, Tara. So lately, Tara's been going through a lot of changes, as so has the group.
Wait, Tara?
Or not Tara. Mercy's been going through changes. My bad. Tara. God. Mercy's been going through changes, as has the group and the Emperor. Last time Mercy talked to the Emperor or like mentioned it, I don't know. It wasn't on the best of terms. What is that like now? What is Mercy's relationship to the Emperor? Is it?
I actually don't know. I'm letting this up to the DM, but she still reports regularly. And she has no animosity to him, per se. It's more that she's not telling absolutely everything she has to. She's reporting on their progress, on Finn if there is something to report. But she's keeping now some stuff for herself.
Gotcha.
Especially the personal stuff. New stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She wouldn't mention this pack of people actually hating the Empire, for example, but she will mention them as being the outcast.
Gotcha. So it's like telling the truth,
So
but not.
she has to tell the truth. That's part of her character.
It's telling the truth, but not all of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Karst, that's a good question. How is the relationship between Emperor and Mercy?
The relationship, well, the atmosphere between the two when they talk is still one of an emperor talking to one of his subjects, talking to soldiers. There's not really much, no sense of animosity or negativity. How he talks to her. He is thankful that in that 2-week time skip we had, that she was able to act as a liaison for him until someone more official could get there for him. Because he is dealing with stuff in the Empire still and couldn't leave right. He does have so she does have his gratitude.
Which is one thing I wanted to mention. There will be another try to convince the guys where we are in the Essex.
Sorry, another what?
Another try.
Oh, okay. Right.
To convince the people from Essex that Empire has changed.
It's all.
So yeah. So
That's all.
last question, which we got from Matt in the chat.
I'm Matt.
If there's time for the question. Okay, what is a stereotype about D&D/D&D players that you hate? Start with Ethan.
Pure power gamers.
Power gamers, sir?
Yeah, pure power gamers who don't cloak anything in roleplay. Just, I want this stat and this and this and this and this and this
Okay.
weapon. Yeah, and never clock it in anything roleplay. Never try to actually soften it. Never try to make personable character mistakes. Look at, I don't know, I can point to Laya or Mercy or even Ethan, Peace, whoever. Look at Mercy. She's strong. She packs a hit. As a ranger, I build her well, yeah. I will not deny that I am sort of power gamer myself, but there is the other side that she tells the truth and that she's naive in some things and that she has prejudices against people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't really. I mean, I know there are stereotypes that exist about people who play D&D. I don't really care, mainly because I don't really like. If you're not my friend, I don't really care what your opinion is. So, like, if I don't know, what people can say whatever they want about me or what I really enjoy, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's your opinion. Yeah, Eric, D&D is a cult. Thanks.
Yeah, it is a cult. We're a bunch of cultists.
Absolutely.
No, honestly, I don't have any opinion on stereotypes. They don't apply to me. I don't pay attention to. So hey, if you
Oh.
have them, well, fuck you.
Probably one for me is it's kind of like a really old one that anyone who plays D&D is essentially a big nerd. Like,
Oh,
the
yeah.
only the uncool people play D&D, which is not true at all. I mean, there are some nerdy people that play it, but lately it's been really friendly and yeah, and like as a lot of people say, thanks to Critical Role, we're getting a lot more new people from all walks of life getting really into the game itself. That is one stereotype I really hate, is the fact that everyone thinks just because you play D&D, you are like a loser who with no friends, which is rude in every sense of the word.
Actually, funnily enough, at my university, when me and Wiji mentioned to some people that we played D&D, people kind of like were like, "Oh, cool! I always wanted to try it." A lot of people were there. Like me and him and a bunch of friends just randomly sometimes, "Oh, let's just throw together a one shot. Let's just play some D&D, folks, and we'll just like that." Wiji ran, and I don't know if that was his first game ever to run, but he ran a game for us. Went pretty well, but you know, we've had some troubled players and trouble with
First
players,
game.
like some new players trying to understand the concept of your character has to fit within these guidelines. You can't just make a necromancer who has 200 million zombies from first level. Come on.
I also want to point out the first game I DM'd, I had the pleasure of one of the characters making a bard pirate.
That was named.
Madam-
Come on, we should say it.
I will not say the name.
Oh, dear.
Hugh. Say the last name.
No.
Hugh. Hugh what?
No. No.
Oh,
But
dear.
Was it Hugh Jackson?
no, it's Hugh Janus.
I knew it.
Oh my god.
Finn!
I
What was
did
his
make
character.
somebody else. I was DMing.
Funnily enough, he wasn't the worst part.
He wasn't the worst part, really?
Yeah.
I had a person who played a character who played a samurai fighter who was the "You have ruined my honor. I challenge you to a duel" type thing.
To the
We
death.
had a-
He only took to the death as an option for most of the time.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was only
During
between
the-
other players, by the way.
I was running a module where the first thing they had to do, they were going to come up against the Manticore and the pirate, and the party had the element of surprise. They had long range weapons; they could have easily taken it down in like one round of combat. But the pirate, he took out his instrument, which was, what was it again in the team?
A flute. He took out an actual,
No.
brought an actual flute with him.
Not an actual flute. The thing in. He took out his instrument and he played a singular note. And the Manticore just looked at them like the fuck and rushed them.
Thing is, because they were all new players, I didn't want to take the forefront of anything, and there were so many ways I knew I could handle, especially with a Manticore, because they're not even that hard to deal with. You just gotta tell them, like, all right, oi, cunt, fuck off, and they're like, all right, K. But whoever drew that, by the way, I fucking love you. Mad props. The little heart thingy.
Oh.
But anyways.
That might have been the dabbing,
No. For me, the whole stereotype thing, I think the worst part is that how do I explain? The one comment I've gotten was, "Oh, but don't you guys get bored?" I'm like, "No." And then I constantly get barraged about how it seems so boring and stuff. And I'm like, "You're not even the one play." Like I was running a game for a bunch of new timers. Wajih was there, and this one person kind of kept going on how it's really boring to play for that long and stuff. I'm like, "You're not even the one playing here. You sat this out." And I think it's mostly that where it's like, oh, it's just really boring stuff about all fantasy and everything. And it's like, well, yeah, but it's the same thing when you play a game. It's the same thing when you play when you read a book. It's the same thing when you watch a movie. All this is you spending time as a hobby, technically wasting time, but enjoying that time wasted. So what is it? How is this different from what you do? Like just because what you're doing is a bit more mainstream than what we're doing, or at least it used to be considered more mainstream. Why is your thing just suddenly this fine thing to do for 10 hours a day, but if we play for 4 at most in most cases of a D&D game, why is that seen as so strange and out there? And that's one thing that's I find a bit annoying. Less of a stereotype and more of just a general annoyance.
That's quite a few. As for myself, I don't know. I haven't really heard a lot of stereotypes, at least not present day ones. I remember hearing all about the old ones about Dungeons and Dragons is Satanism and all that. I remember those old stupid ones when I kind of looked more into D&D, reading about it when it first came out. I was like, oh my god, it's so dumb.
Funnily enough, Karst, a friend of mine who's really religious, really big Christian, and he's really devout Christian stuff. I used to go with him in the morning to uni, and he would constantly hear my ramblings about D&D and stuff, and he was actually interested and didn't ever call it the dumb thing that was it's cultist stuff. If it was a cult, guess what? Best cult ever. Fuck all you guys.
Yeah, that's what I kind of find funny is, if they try doing that nowadays, it's you can make stories where you could be a cleric or some religious figure who's going out on this quest or something to prevent demons and devils from taking over the world, or going on trying into hell's itself to fight off the big bad. It's you can actually be the religious good person if you want to have that kind of game. So it's just that kind of stuff is I don't think that is something that would pass nowadays anymore.
No, definitely not.
But you never know with people, because
I mean, things like Stranger Things and iZombie has really brought it to light to the mainstream where a lot of people wanted to try it.
Yeah.
This semester, I was supposed to run a game for the Writers Club in uni here in UOB, but because of the circumstances, a lot of us weren't able to. But I was supposed to run a game for a lot of them, and they were really excited. Like a dude had almost every single D&D book on his laptop already, and he's like, "I've been wanting to try this for years, and my friends wanted to try. I really thank you for this." And I feel bad that every semester something comes up.
Let's see. I guess one stereotype about D&D players that I hate, I occasionally kind of seen tossed around, is that all D&D players are just losers who live in their parents' basement.
Yeah.
We don't have a basement, so that can't apply to me.
Yeah, same.
Tornado Valley, baby. Basement.
That's I know. But if you live in Florida, you don't have a basement.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's too marshy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's an indoor poll.
yeah. I guess. Oh, I guess one that's one thing I do hate. Is that kind of stereotyping about what D&D players are, as a lot of people trying to like, in the term gatekeep certain
Oh,
people
that's so.
from playing D&D, or like saying like you should only play a certain way, or there's only a
Yeah.
right way to play.
I've been told so many times on a forum when I asked a question, like I once asked on Reddit for like something about for peace thing, and like Lamel, you're playing a paladin wrong. Isn't he supposed to be devout? I'm like, I mean, Oathbreaker's a thing. Do you want me to go oath? Would you rather me put my DM through having to choose either Oathbreaker or like just me being a shitty character? Because like, hey, guess what? I don't want to do my oath anymore. Peace out, folks. Guess what? All I got is 2 attacks, and that's all I can do.
So yeah, that I guess that is one thing. To answer Matt's question that I do is people who try to keep others out from D&D because just for whatever dumbass reason they think is right. I I'm one of those people who was introduced to D&D. I was introduced into it at college. I didn't know anything about it before I was invited to play a game, but not to belittle the person who was trying to run it. It wasn't running good, and the DM just wasn't doing the best of his ability to run the game, and I just was having fun with it. So I just thought,
DMing because no one else would, rather than because he wanted to.
possibly, I think, but there was also the issue of finding time where we could all get together consistently. So I think I went by like maybe probably like 3-4 years for my now brother-in-law told me, "Hey, have you heard about Critical Role? You should check it out. They stream live on Twitch, and they have the past D&D sessions on YouTube. So why should I check? Why would that be fun to watch?" So I checked it out, and I because I was kind of in a transition between jobs at the time. I had a lot of free time, so I pretty much binged watched most of the first campaign in 3 months, and
Damn.
caught up to the live stream and watched ever since. And that I will say, I know it's kind of generic, but Critical Role got me into D&D and got me more interested in it. And I didn't realize that with D&D you could make your own story. And being someone who likes creating things, I always like drawing, writing stuff, making up characters. This was like a way I could vent all that creative energy I had and had no way to vent it where I live. Make something useful and creative out of it.
Thank you, Kar's brother-in-law, for getting that, because I wouldn't have this. I actually wouldn't be here playing D&D today if it wasn't for Kars being in the game anyways, running one.
Yeah. Though I will say it was probably a little bit naive of me to try DMing a homebrew game as my first thing ever.
Hey, you did great. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I was having fun, and I would have stayed had I not had to go to college.
Thank you, Ethan. Though when you left and other people started to leave, I was not experienced enough about incorporating new players in, and basically things just fell apart. And I was also having a little bit of issues at the time figuring out how to connect things. I was always trying to overwork myself by making sure I had everything planned out. So when I took some time off and started up, tips and thinking what I wanted my world to go through or what the stories were and how improv stuff, I was ready to try running it again. And that's when Jen came in. But one of the only first remaining people when I started my campaign, my
Yeah.
story again for the second time.
Yep.
She's the only one who's here from the very beginning of that one, and then we got Ethan, who's here from the very beginning of my first attempt. So they're my two veterans.
Papa DM.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one stereotype I hate is that only certain people or certain things should work for D&D.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a good DM who good at making things work, D&D is for anyone, and it can be, and you can be almost anything as long as it's not in the,
campaign out of anything.
as long as it's not in the UA. It's good.
Oh my
fucking
god.
UA.
Cars,
You
get
and your
out of here
fucking
with that.
UA. It's not even that bad, but but I know this. Just tweak it slightly, and you'll be fine.
Revised
We're not
UA
talking
is okay.
about.
Mystic is broken. Ban Mystic.
But
Ban it.
yeah,
Burn it.
Mystic. Oh my god,
Mystic.
Mystic. No.
Burn it to
Like I
hell.
said, I played that class once. That is one of the hardest classes.
I just imagine Mystic is just the embodiment of, "Hi, I'm here to take your job, Mr. DM. I'll be the one running the game now. Thank you."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all the
Actually,
enemies just
pretty
suddenly
much-
die.
Pretty much, it's a warlock, wizard, sorcerer, cleric.
Telepath.
Every class.
It's every class role.
It can do a
Pretty
druid.
much.
Yeah, it's like, oh hey, let me see how many hit points that thing has. Okay,
Yeah.
now I know what ability to use based that
Exactly.
depends
I
on their
mean,
hit
here, let
points.
me just activate this ability, and now I have 5 temporary hit points every damn round. Thanks.
Isn't that heroism?
No,
Nope.
it's not for mystics.
Oh.
It's a psionic ability that they have that they can activate, and it gives them like 5 or 10 temporary hit points every damn round.
Jeez. Well,
You just end off the game with like 500 hit points, and you're like, "All right, sub big bad. I'm still level 1, and you're dead."
Yeah, pretty much.
well,
It's like you can turn any weapon magical. You gotta focus. The only problem is you have to focus on that psionic ability in order for it to work. So you have to make sure you know what you're doing. It's a bonus action. You could stop it, and then you have to use an action to start another one. So I mean, that's the only downfall with it. They're like spells, and you have to concentrate on them, but you don't have to make concentration checks.
okay.
Which
Well,
is
unless you
the
use your
worst-
special psi points that allows you to concentrate on multiple things at a time.
There you go. That too. Yeah, But I think they need to. I think they should throw in concentration checks because if you're getting hit, how are you concentrating on? It's like with spells.
It's easy to concentrate, I guess, for mystics because their brain is fat.
That is true.
Big
They're-
brain.
Because their brain are like this, while my brain are like this.
But thank you for the question, Matt, and I think that's where we'll end this very first ever podcast talk of Nat
Hey.
20 Insight.
Alrighty.
Sweet.
I think we all certainly got some good insight into everyone and characters and players both. And it's great that we had actually such a big audience show. We actually hit 7 people at one point.
Nice.
So, thank you all for coming. If you enjoyed it, make sure to follow us here. We don't have really a set schedule when we'll do this. Basically, we just do it when
We're testing out dates.
when we have free time. So, just I asked around. Seemed like majority of people can make it today at this time. So, thank you those of you that asked questions, and I will be putting this up on YouTube for later. So, hope you all enjoyed. And if you see this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and leave a comment. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below, and we'll make sure to ask them next week. Till then, take care and stay healthy, everyone. Wash your hands.
Wash your hands, boy.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Remember, D&D is for everyone.